I have identified 5 stages of awakening. I feel that it is incredibly important for you to know this process so as to make the most of each stage and get through them as quick as possible. This entire project is centered on this process, and I have taken great care to put the information in the order that I wish I had learned it. I feel this will allow the individual to deal with a new reality in a safe environment that also ensures a successful awakening. The awakening process mirrors Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grief, which many of you might be familiar with. The reason why they mirror is because it is literally your old self dying, so that a totally free, new self can be born. Your body will physically and mentally react as if there was a real death in your life. We identify ourselves by what we do, what we wear, and what we drive. When you are awake, none of that will matter. You will transcend the current consumer order and be fully prepared to deal with a new paradigm. I feel it is incredibly helpful for you to understand this process, to not only identify where you are, but where you should be going. I cannot stress to you how important and necessary this process is. If you do not start thinking for yourself, you will be without the skills necessary to survive a post-dollar world. The first stage in the 5 stages of awakening is denial. In this stage, you will dismiss anything that goes counter to conventional wisdom as crazy talk or conspiracy theory. This is really a self-defense mechanism the brain uses to protect the ego. No one likes to admit when they're wrong, much less admit that they have been fooled. So it is infinitely easier to deny a truth rather than it is to embrace it. It is easier to mock than debate. It is easier to hide under the sheets and pretend that there is not a monster in the room. This is where most of our society is stuck right now. They believe that whatever the authorities tell them is the truth. They go along with the crowd in fear of being looked upon as strange or crazy. In my experience, denial comes in 2 forms. First is the most common and least dangerous form of denial. It is just not wanting to know the truth that might upset their happy little life. This innocent denial of ignorance is bliss mentality is held by so many Americans who think that things are going swell for them, so why ruin it with the truth? There was a woman I was working with that literally shut down on me when confronted with the truth. She literally said to me, "I do not want to know because that reality is too scary for me." This form of denial is the easiest to overcome because when things go wrong in their perfect little world, they will have no more excuses to not look for the reason why their world fell apart. There is no more bliss for them to remain ignorant. The economic depression and the political failures of both the Bush and the Obama administration have already shook a great many out of this denial. As long as people believe in absurdities, they will continue to commit atrocities. Voltaire. The second kind of denial is one that is much more pernicious. I view it as guilty denial. This is the denial of people who are actually benefiting off of the illusion of our paradigm. This comes from business owners, government employees, and others whose livelihood is derived off of the current debt paradigm. These people actively fight against the truth through disinformation or saying they just can't keep it a secret or that's just crazy conspiracy talk. They would rather create a plausible deniability to distance themselves from the reality of their actions or inactions. Their aggressive defense of the illusion shows me that they know what they are doing is wrong. They are too afraid to live outside of this paradigm, so it is better to try to hold it together despite its human costs.